nonchalance is useless if you have a dad bod. Now, disclaimer, am I saying that a person or a guy that is not fit, that isn't shaped or built like an athlete, or doesn't have some sort of fit physique, or a guy that's not walking onto a stage, am I saying that his nonchalance isn't going to get a woman all riled up, isn't going to get her feelings or her coochie tingling? No, I'm not saying that at all, because at the end of the day, women like what they like. If they connect with a guy on an emotional level, that is a thing. Hey, it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. I've seen it. I've witnessed it back in the day when when I was very chubby. Yes, I managed to pull a chick or two just based off of quote unquote personality. Yes, this does happen. I'm not denying it. So guys that are in the verbal seduction community or the whole game community and stuff like that, don't get all riled up, because I'm not saying that if you don't have a fit physique, it's not going to work at all. What I am saying is, I'm sorry, it's just not as powerful. It just doesn't have the same gravity as if some guy with a fit physique, right? If he were to be more nonchalant, if he was the one being nonchalant, it just has a little more power to it. It has a little bit more pull to it. It's kind of like, think of it like this. Like, if, first of all, this is Tarik Talks. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Let me get that out the way. Let's get right into it. It's like this. If you were with a chick, she was a little overweight, right? And hey, look, you just did it just to do it. You were bored on a random Tuesday night. You didn't have anything to do. She just happened to hit you up. Hey, maybe she happened to have some food with her, or maybe she was picking up some fast food or something like that to come to your crib. And you're like, hey, you know what? I'm hungry. I just took a shot or two and I feel like smashing, right? And I don't encourage anyone to do that, but let's just be for real. I'm just talking about the average guy. Then, you're going to invite her over. You're going to be like, cool. Hey, look, come through. We're going to do what we do. And after that, hey, look, we go our separate ways, and you have a nice life and I'm going to have a nice life as well. Maybe we'll see each other at some point. But hey, look, I'm not really too pressed about it. If she leaves, you're not going to be too pressed about it if you don't hear from her for a week, or if you don't hear from her for a while, especially if you're dealing with another chick that you are very attracted to. You're going to be like, okay, hey, look, it was fun. I was kind of buzzed. So she looked a little finer in the dark. I was buzzed. So she looked fine as hell when I was drunk as hell. Then when I came to my senses, I'm like, damn, what the hell did I just do? Right? But you aren't tripping if she does not hit you up like that. As a matter of fact, you're not going to want to hit her up, and you probably aren't going to want to hit her up your damn self. And this is going to make her wonder even more. She's going to be like, dang, why is this guy not hitting me up? Was it me? Or, that's just how they start thinking, because women are naturally drawn to validation. Okay. Now let's flip flop it. Let's say that you were with a young lady. She was your type. I mean, as soon as you saw her, as soon as you met her, your soldiers stood at attention. You're like, dang, this chick right here is gorgeous. She's got nice long hair, or she's got a nice hairdo. You like how her hair looks. She smells nice. She's shaped real nice. Her face is very nice. She's got a banging ass body. She's just gorgeous. She's one of the most gorgeous chicks that you've ever been with, right? You guys do it. Now, you managed to get her back to your crib, okay? Somehow, some way, the gods were looking down on you, and they were in approval of you that night. The stars aligned. The earth was tilting the right way. The moon was shining just bright, and the constellations were in place. And you just managed to take her back to your place. She rocked her damn world. You are going to be thinking about this chick like, oh my God, when the hell is she going to hit me back up? Don't front. Don't even front and act like you don't think like that, right? If the chick was super gorgeous. Now, a lot of guys in the manosphere or whatever the hell, the type of chicks that, they talk about like, oh, I'm nonchalant and this and that, and I'm not thinking about that. Yeah, sure. They're talking about more of the chicks that really weren't that attractive. Behind closed doors, and when they do get with a chick that is extremely attractive, you best believe that they're thinking about her like a mug. They're thinking about the next time they're going to see her. They're thinking about the next time they're going to smash. And by her being nonchalant, you're going to be like, damn, I wish she would hit me up. You would have way more desire for her to hit you up. You would be like, you'll be itching like, when the hell is she going to hit me up? Why is that? Because her body was banging. She had a big fat in the back. You know, a big fat. She had a fat booty, big old high beams, hooters, whatever you want to call it, whatever your preference. She was a nice blondie, nice brunette, nice dark skin, nice Latina, whatever your preference. And she was very pretty. She was physically appealing to you, right? Her body shape she was banging. She had a banging ass body. And that was the difference between the first girl and the second. So now her nonchalance is going to be fucking you up, right? Same thing. Now reverse the roles. It's the same thing with young ladies, right? Yeah, sure. If a guy she was with, maybe she didn't have anything to do, or, you know, he was kind of funny. He was making her laugh, and they were having a few drinks. They were out and about, and the guy was making her laugh. He might have said one or two clever things, because let's just be honest, you know, women are emotional too. You feel what I'm saying? So if you are funny enough, if you do have that quote unquote verbal game enough, yes, I'm not saying that you can't seduce a woman, right? But let's take at the physical aspect. Hey, look, you probably have, if the guy had a dad bod, I'm not talking about you personally, but I'm talking about the guy, whoever it is, Joe Schmo, he has a dad bod, you know, probably 40 pounds overweight, probably very skinny or kind of chubby, more on the chubbier side. You know, he doesn't look like he works out at all. It's pretty much obvious what he does in his spare time. Really not too much discipline going on. You know, she's gonna do him. She's gonna do a little one night stand maybe or something like that. But look, she's not gonna be pressed if this guy is nonchalant. She's not gonna care if this guy doesn't hit her up for a week or whatever the hell, because a lot of these dating coaches, they'll tell you not to hit her up for a month or a year or whatever the hell. Or some of them will even be like, hey, after you meet up with her, after you guys get together, don't even hit her up at all, ever, unless she hits you up. And look, if you have a dad bod, if you have a body that is underwhelming, and hell, let's just be realistic here. I'm mainly talking about the physique, but let's be realistic. Maybe you didn't put it down in bed as well as you should have, because hey, look, let's be honest. When you are a little out of shape, sometimes your little man isn't going to stand up. And this is something that's not talked about enough. I saw this stupid ass comment talking about, oh, I have a man and, you know, he has a big thing, pause, but he's not in the best shape or something like that. And he's kind of skinnier. Yes. Hey, look, when you get in shape, when you start getting leaner, when you start shedding that body fat, you better believe that your Johnson is going to be working much better. Okay. Your Johnson is going to be working much better because you're eating healthier. You're cutting out the BS foods. You're hopefully you're cutting out alcohol. Alcohol messes with your testosterone. That's why they call it the whiskey diz, right? Whiskey dick. When you can't get your thing up, they don't call it that for no reason. You have that excess fat and you drink a whole bunch. That's a recipe for erectile dysfunction. It is what it is. Right? Now, when you get leaner, when you start having a more fit physique, not only is she going to be more visually attracted to you, now you're going to be putting it down in bed better. Okay. But like I said, when the guy that is out of shape, you know, let's just be honest, after they do what they do, she's going to go home and she's not really going to be, she's going to be like, okay, whatever. And the dude can be nonchalant as he wants. The chick isn't really going to give a shit. She's not going to be like, why hasn't Joe Schmo hit me up as much? Now, she might, kind of, but in all honesty, she's not going to give a damn. Hey, that might be the last time you even ever see her, because she's like, okay, I was kind of drunk, or it was just a spur of the moment. I had nothing to do. He kind of said a joke or two that was funny, and that was about it. Now, when you are in shape, she's going to be like, damn, that dude, he's, you know, I don't see his kind too much. He was very physically appealing. He turned me on. You know, you were turning her on the whole time. She was just looking at you. Yes, women are visual. Get over it. She was looking at you. You had some nice charisma, right? I'm not telling you that your physique is the end all be all, but when you have that physique and charisma, she is just going to be like, okay, yes, this dude can get it. She's going to be feeling tingly down there the whole time. She's just going to be extremely into you. She's going to be hooked because not only do you have charisma, you have that physical aspect. You have that physical aspect, and she thinks that you have a very sexy physique, that sex appeal, okay? And that having that fit physique is going to increase that by tenfold. So now when you guys do what you do, you know, you guys get together, she's going to be like, dang, why hasn't he hit me up? And it's only probably been like a day or maybe 2 days. She's going to be thinking about you. See, fellas, when a chick is extremely sexually attracted to you, and on top of that, you have a fit physique, and on top of that, you are putting it down on her because, hey, look, you have a fit physique. Now your Johnson works good. She was filling up on your muscles. Trust and believe, hey, look, when women like you like that, when they're extremely sexually attracted to you, they're going to be thinking about you all day. That's all they can think about. Don't let these chicks fool you with all of these posts and all that. Oh, we don't care. I'm not thinking about a dude and stuff, even though they're always talking about dudes. And they're acting nonchalant. You know, the chick is trying to act nonchalant. Now here you come, rocking her world, right? And she's physically attracted to your physique. She's going to be like, why the hell is he so nonchalant? Right? Why the hell is he not hitting me up? Why the hell is he not liking every single one of my photos? Why is he not like being Joe Schmo that likes every single one of my photos, that is always sliding in my DMs, that's always texting me every minute and I don't want him to? Why doesn't he act like that? Now you got her going. Now she's at work thinking about the night that, you know, y'all got together, thinking about when the time she was spending with you. And she's like, damn, you know, that dude was fit, because most guys that I run into are not. Most guys that I run into are out of shape as hell. They don't have discipline. This guy was different. You know, I actually enjoyed looking at this dude. I actually enjoyed his physical presence. I actually enjoyed, you know, visually, you know, mentally, if you had charisma. So that's what gets them hooked. And a lot of dating coaches, you know, they leave that part out. I think it's a huge part, and I think it's a major thing to talk about, because they try to downplay it like, oh, that doesn't matter. It's just what you say. Dog, we are visual creatures. Just fucking get over it. All right? We are visual creatures. For them to leave that out, they're leaving a huge, huge piece, because you're not going to be thinking about, see, when women fantasize, when they're fantasizing about a guy, I bet you, I guarantee you, it is not some guy that is 40 pounds overweight with a big old belly, right, and skinny arms and a double chin. They're not thinking about that guy. They're thinking about a guy who is physically in shape. I made a video about you know, how women fantasize with the romance novels and stuff. You look at the covers of romance novels, it's a bunch of guys that are very in shape, dudes that are taller and they are in shape. They have muscle mass, right? That's what they're fantasizing about. That is what they are going to be thinking about. They're not going to be thinking about freaking the Michelin Man or the Pillsbury Doughboy. They're going to be thinking about a guy that Michael B. Jordan, you know, he's a dude that a lot of chicks, you know, hard eyes and get thirsty over, right? If you know the rapper Dave East, okay, he's in shape. He's not the biggest guy. He's not going to step on stage at any time, right? But he's very in shape. You know what I'm saying? And you look at his comment section, all those chicks are going crazy. He works out. So they're fantasizing about guys that are in shape. And you are that guy. If you're nonchalant, you're not really texting her, it's even going to be that much more powerful. It's going to hit her that much more. Now, if you're a guy that, you know, is under average, or how the average guy is, she's not going to be thinking like that. She's not going to be thinking, you know, when you text her, she's like, oh, Joe Schmo. Okay, hey, I guess maybe I'll text him back when I get to it. She's not gonna be like, why the hell isn't he texting me? She's not really gonna be giving a crap like that. It's just not as powerful. It's not as powerful. It doesn't have that same kind of that pull, that same kind of power to it as if you were in shape. And a lot of guys, you know, they could keep dismissing this and they can just keep saying it doesn't matter, it's about money, stuff like that, but they're missing out. And this is the missing piece a lot of guys are missing. You know, this is the piece that a lot of guys are missing. So when they do start getting in shape, now all of a sudden it's like their nonchalance finally means something. Because before, when they were chubby, they're like, damn, why isn't this advice the dating coach gave me not working? Why isn't she hitting me up supposedly because I'm being nonchalant and I just have a devil may care attitude, right? So hope this video helped. Peace.